Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Priestess Talk. I am Priestess ᴜ봏ᴏᴜ, and today we have a very special video for you. So, you all know in the past, I did a video discussing shadow work and the shadow journey and the importance of shadow work, especially when you are dealing with a dark spiritual path or a spiritual path that embraces the darkness of the world. Well, I got a lot of comments on that video and a lot of questions basically wanting me to dive deeper into what a shadow journey is, how to dive into a shadow journey, and how to begin. Like, how does one go deep into the shadows of their essence? How does one explore the darkness that's within? So I'm going to do for the next couple weeks a video series talking about shadow journeys and really going into the depth of what they are, because they are so important on this path and they're so important for life in general. Because when you are aligned with your shadows, when you are aligned with the sides of yourself that have been forgotten, broken, ignored, or rejected, you are powerful. You are incredibly powerful and you're incredibly strong. And shadow journeys, they help to align you with that power. They help to awaken that power inside of you and help you step into your courage, into your strength, and move forward in life knowing that you are whole. You are whole and complete, and you have all your beautiful skills and amazing abilities to fall back on. So for this video, what I want to start with is I want to start with ways to open the shadow journey, because we've all heard it. Shadow journeys, shadow work, going into yourself, exploring your shadows, embracing your shadows, unifying with your shadows, healing your shadows. We've heard these terms, but what do they actually mean? How does one actually begin to go inside of themselves and uncover the shadows? How do you even start that? I'm going to cover a bunch of different methods in this video on how to go into your mind, into your subconscious, and begin to explore the shadows that are within there. Remember, shadow work is something that can be very dangerous. It can also be very powerful, and it can be very painful. When you are going into the shadows, healing can hurt. It can hurt, and it can bring up a lot of repressed trauma and a lot of repressed emotions and feelings and memories. So before going in, always make sure to check in with yourself. How are you doing? How is your mental health? How are you feeling? You want to make sure that before really going deep into the shadows, that you're taking the time to take care of yourself and nourish yourself. Now, yes, sometimes in life, we're just thrown on a shadow journey. It happens. We have a memory come up. Something happens in our life that triggers the shadow and we are suddenly exposed to it. In these moments, self-care is so important, and it is important to be gentle with yourself. It is important to nourish your needs and to also consistently check in with your mental health. And if you need extra help, if you need guidance or a counselor or a therapist, there is absolutely no shame in talking to a therapist or a counselor. There is no shame at all. We need other people. We are a species that is connected through conversation and communication. We need connection with other people. And sometimes you need a therapist, you need a counselor, or you need that friend that you can reach out to who will help you through these journeys. So make sure you have somebody on hand that you can talk to if you need to, whether that be a therapist, a counselor, a trusted friend, or family member. It's going to be personal to your path. For some people, they have a close friend, they have a close connection who will be there for them during those times, who will be there as a sounding board and will help guide them. Many of us who work with spirit companions, we know that during these moments when the shadows come up and when things are triggered and we're feeling intense pain, our companions are there for us. We can talk with them, we can communicate with them, and they can help us work through these feelings that are coming up. So just always make sure that before you begin a shadow journey, check in with yourself, make sure your mental health is good, make sure you have taken care of your needs, make sure you've gotten enough water, you've eaten some good food, maybe go for a walk just to kind of ground yourself and get yourself centered, prepare yourself, do some breathing exercises, and make sure that you have somebody who you can talk to, who will be there for you and who will listen. So these are just some important steps to consider before you begin a shadow journey. So once you have all that, once you have that foundation established, you're ready to begin. So a shadow journey is basically where you are going into your subconscious mind. You are turning your attention away from external forces. So you're turning your attention away from the external world, and you are introverting yourself. You are turning your attention inward. You are looking within, and you are going to uncover a lot of different aspects of yourself this way. You're going to uncover memories, emotions, feelings, repressed talents, repressed skills and abilities, the darkness of your soul. There's a lot in the subconscious, and you don't always know what you're going to find, especially when you're just starting out doing shadow work. When you're just starting out, for our whole lives, basically, we've been really fixated on what's going on around us. We've been told to focus on the external world, our place in the external world, how we're going to fit into the external world. We've never really been guided to look within and guided to ask ourselves the important questions like, what do we want? What do we want to do? Where do we want to go? Who do we want to be? Who are we? These are such important questions to explore, and this is what shadow work preps you for. This is what shadow work allows you to do, is it gives you that space to go inward and to explore your shadows and really learn about who you are in depth. It's very powerful and it's very amazing work. So the shadow journeys, basically, they are a time set aside throughout the day where you have dedicated to shadow work. You say, I'm going to take this time, I'm going to take this space, I'm going to look within, and I'm going to explore the shadows that are inside of me. I'm going to turn my attention inward, and I'm going to see what is there. So, how does one begin a shadow journey? Well, there's many ways that one can begin a shadow journey, and I'm going to cover a bunch of them in this video. So the first one is very easy. It's meditation. Meditation is fantastic for shadow work, especially if you have a trigger come up or a shadow come up or you feel intense emotion come up. Meditation is absolutely fantastic. If you are going about your day and suddenly you feel a trigger come up or you feel a memory come up, make sure you go set aside time and meditate. Find the time to just meditate, and all you have to do is just observe. All you want to do during meditation is just observe the shadow. Watch what is happening. Watch how you're feeling. Watch what's coming up. Watch the images, the visions, the visuals that are appearing before you. Just sit with yourself. Breathe. Breathe deeply to enter the meditative state. Close your eyes and just observe. Invite the shadows to come up. Invite them to reveal to you the messages that they have for you. This is such a powerful tool because when you can just observe what's going on, when you can observe what is going on inside of you, you can make sense of it. You can make sense of the energies, you can make sense of the shadows, and you can start to unlock the mysteries that are contained within. As you unlock them, as you accept these shadows, as you learn to appreciate them and to integrate them, you'll start to feel whole. They will start to fuse within you, and you will feel yourself becoming whole. You will feel that shadow as a part of you instead of something that is external, and that gives you power. If the shadow is traumatic too, watching it, processing it, and observing it can actually help you take back power from that shadow. It can help you take back the power that has been robbed from you. This is especially true with traumatic shadows. If you have something where you've been bullied or hurt, and there was a time where you gave your power away to somebody else, that becomes a shadow. That becomes a shadow within you. And what ends up happening then is as you face that shadow, as you observe it and you watch it, you actually can say, no. Observing it from this angle, I should never have given my power away to that person. I should never have let them take that power from me, and I'm going to take this power back. This shadow, this power is mine, and I'm claiming it. I'm taking my power back from the one who I originally gave it to. And it's powerful because as you take that power back, you feel the energies rush inside of you, and you feel your own body awaken. You feel your own essence rise because now you have more power. Now that shadow has been integrated into you, and it is a part of you again. It is helping you to become whole. So meditation. Meditation is fantastic for opening the shadow journey. It's still a meditation, but it's kind of a sub-meditation, is just silent listening. If you don't really know where to begin with shadow work, and if you haven't had any triggers or any emotions or things come up, one thing you can do is you can just silently listen. Just sit with yourself and breathe and just listen to the dialogue that's going on in your head. Listen to your body. Listen to any messages or anything that's coming up. Silent listening is fantastic because you can really start to connect with yourself and your energies, and you can really get a sense of what's going on inside of you. A lot of people, unfortunately, we've been taught to repress our emotions. So there are some people that actually have a complete disconnect between themselves and their emotions. Their emotions are repressed so deep into the subconscious mind that they actually don't even know that they're there. So this is where, like with meditation, if you actually uncover an active trigger, or if you're going through the day and you feel an emotion come up, meditation is great for that. With silent listening, it's good for those who are so used to repressing their pain and trauma and repressing their shadows that they don't even know they're there. Because with silent listening, you can start to get clues, and you can start to pick up on these subtle variants that are going on within you to help guide you to the shadows. So just taking time every day to listen to the shadows that are coming up within, to listen to what's going on inside of you. It might take time too. It depends on how good you are at repressing your emotions. If you're really good at it, this might take some time. It might take time for those shadows to come up. It might take time for you to connect with them, but just spending time every day listening to yourself and listening to your shadows will help you to connect with them, and that will give you a foundation for exploring them. So taking time to just silently listen to what's going on within you and just observe. Don't judge. Don't judge anything that comes up. That's part of the fun of this meditation, silent listening. Don't judge what's coming up. Just watch it. Just observe it. These are your emotions. These are your thoughts. These are everything that you were told was wrong about you. These are all the sides, all the fascinating, beautiful, subtle, sublime intricacies of yourself that have been repressed and shoved away from society, and they're beautiful. They are beautiful. So uncovering them and awakening them and learning about them and just listening to them, it'll help you to connect with yourself, and it'll help you to understand yourself on a deeper level. So take the time to just listen. Silently listen to what's going on inside of you. Don't judge it. Don't react to it. Just observe it. That will give you a base for figuring out where your shadows are and the areas that you want to explore. It's such powerful and amazing work. So, another way for doing shadow work is guided journeys. I love guided meditations. I absolutely love them because you are being guided through a series of steps, which is basically helping to walk you into an altered state of consciousness where you can access the deep regions of your mind, access your subconscious domain, and really explore what's going on inside of you. Within each of us is a spiritual world. This is a sacred world that is our spiritual domain. You see so many people talk about this, very successful people, very spiritual, very philosophical people. They all had this inner world, and this inner world is where the inner genius is. It is where your powerful essence resides. And by connecting with it, you are able to understand yourself, you are able to solve problems, you are able to connect to different aspects of yourself, and you are able to empower yourself. So guided journeys, specifically designed to target shadows and to help reveal your shadows to you, are so powerful because the guided meditations are walking you into that altered state, and you already have the intent to go on a shadow journey and to uncover different shadows that wish to be heard. So make sure you state that intent before you go on one of these guided journeys, that this journey is to help you face the shadows that are inside of you and help you to integrate them and to unify with them, or heal them if they need to be healed. So as you're going on this guided journey, you are going to start seeing images, you are going to start seeing visuals, and you are going to start having experiences. Pay attention to these experiences. You might even have repressed memories come up or repressed feelings. If the memories come up, observe the memories and just watch them. They might be painful. They might be traumatic. If you need to cry, but just sit with the energies. Just sit and observe them. Let them process and let them move through you. Remember, your feelings are not wrong. They are valid. Just observe your feelings. Observe them and let them be heard. It's much easier to work with your feelings and to work with your shadows once they have been heard. Oftentimes when we've repressed our emotions, it is because we weren't allowed to speak. We weren't allowed to feel. We weren't allowed to have these emotions. So these emotions want to be heard. The pain wants to be heard. Let it out. Let it out. Just observe it. Step back and observe it and let it out and allow it to be heard. Allow it to have that space without judgment, without the prying eyes of society telling it it's wrong. Just feel it. And then, through the guided journey, work with the shadow. Work with it to integrate it into you. Accept yourself for who you are. Accept the sides of yourself that were denied. And just allow yourself that space to explore yourself, to explore and understand who you are, and to understand the shadow regions of your mind. It is such powerful work. Guided journeys are such a fantastic way to really sink into the subconscious and really embrace those shadows that are within. I absolutely just love guided journeys. It's one of my favorite of all of them. It's one of my favorite. Another great way to begin the shadow journey is by focusing on your triggers, making a list of everything that triggers you, everything that upsets you, everything that you feel a strong reaction towards. You're having a strong reaction for a reason. There is something there. I mean, yeah, sometimes it is horrific acts and you're just absolutely and utterly appalled by these horrific acts and you want to change them. But sometimes you are reacting to things because you've experienced pain in your life. You've experienced pain and trauma. Those triggers are clues. They are clues to what's going on in your subconscious mind, and they are clues to what is going on inside of you. Focusing on your triggers, writing them down, and taking time to just explore the triggers and how you feel around them. And yes, this can be incredibly painful work. It can be absolutely painful, like absolutely incredibly painful. Shadow work can be horrific at times. It can be horrific. It can awaken memories. It can awaken pain. It can awaken emotions. But afterwards, once you've cleared it and integrated the shadow back into yourself, you'll feel so much better. You will feel whole. You will feel empowered. And you will feel ready to move forward knowing that you have cleared something massive within you. This is why it's so powerful. Shadow work often removes the blocks and barriers that prevent us from going where we are to where we want to be. Our shadows often hold us back. They prevent us from taking action. They prevent us from trying new things. They prevent us from actually engaging the world in a way that will help us move forward. So by facing that pain, by facing those fears, by facing those traumas and healing them, we're able to move forward. We're able to move past them. So know all of your triggers are clues, things that upset you, things that bother you, things that concern you, things that you're afraid of. All of these things are keys to different shadows within you. And some of them, like for some there's an interesting twist in, like, for some people might be incredibly, passionate about helping children who have been abused, but they have a shadow that makes them fearful, so they don't know how to actually take action towards helping children. So by doing the shadow work and integrating that shadow and unifying with the power in that shadow, then they're able to take action. They're able to follow through on that, and they're able to help others who are in need. So when you face your own fears, when you face the pains inside of you, and when you can take your power back from them, it opens so many doors for you. It opens up so many avenues. It can also make you feel better. Sometimes your shadows, they just want to be heard. They've been repressed for so long. You've been told for so long, you can't feel this, you can't feel this, you can't feel this, you can't feel this, you're not allowed. That if you just feel it and cry and just let it out and just allow yourself that moment to feel, you feel so much better. Emotions are so important on this journey. They are so important, all of our emotions. This is not a journey where you're just forcing yourself to be happy all the time. This is not. That's actually a terrible thing to do. That is a terrible thing to do. You'll find that as you integrate your shadows, you will be happy, you will be joyful. But mostly that's because you're not repressing your sadness. You're not repressing when you get angry, and you're allowed to feel fear. You're allowed to feel. That is one of the most beautiful things in the world, is being allowed to feel. and knowing that your feelings are valid, because they are. Your feelings are valid. Mental mastery is not about feeling nothing. It is about being in control of your emotions, feeling everything, and then directing it where you want it to go. You are in control of yourself, and you are in control of your mind and body. So when a feeling comes up, you stand with the feeling, you go, yes, I know you're feeling this way. I can understand why you're feeling this way, and you are valid in feeling this way. Now let's work together and direct these energies where we want them to go, which will empower us and empower our path. When feelings come up, they are guiding us. They are guiding us, and they are helping us to navigate this world. They are there to help us move through our life here. And when we are in alignment with them, when we're not trying to repress them, when all of your feelings and your entire essence is working together, and you are a powerhouse that is able to move in any direction you want. You are able to command your thoughts, you're able to command your mind, and you are able to command your energies to get incredible and amazing results. And shadow work, it gives you the power to do this. It gives you the power to go in and to start accepting these sides, accepting these feelings, healing these traumas, healing these pains, and pulling yourself back together, unifying yourself so that you are empowered and strong and able to move forward and get what you desire. It is such powerful and amazing work. You can also use your mind to explore your triggers. When you start to understand yourself and you start to understand who you are, because shadow work really is about that. It is about going inside and learning about who you are, learning your truth, learning about all the sides that you were told were wrong, all the emotions that you told were wrong, everything about you that you were told is wrong exists in your shadows. And when you go in and you embrace them, when you embrace these shadows and you connect to them, you start to understand who you are. You start to understand who you are as a person. You start to understand your boundaries. That is such a beautiful thing. When you are doing shadow work, you start to learn that your boundaries are okay. You are allowed to have boundaries. You are allowed to say no. You're not, growing up, oh, you're not allowed to feel that way. You're not allowed to feel that way. You're not allowed to feel that way. That is a violation of your boundaries. That is your boundaries basically being like crushed. You're not allowed to feel. I'm sorry, what? I'm feeling really uncomfortable with this situation. Who are you to tell me I am not allowed to feel this way? I am allowed to feel uncomfortable, and I'm allowed to say, I am really not comfortable with the situation. I really don't want to do that. It's empowerment. It is such strong, incredible empowerment being able to say, oh my gosh, I can set a boundary. As I say this, I am actually like horrified at how uncommon this is and how shocking this is. Like, we have to learn, we should be teaching children that they're allowed to set boundaries. Boundaries are important. They preserve yourself. They preserve your mental health. They are super important. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it shows the mind control and conformity that we are forced into in society. It's shown how we are forced into doing and acting a certain way for the comfort of other people, not for ourselves, not for how we feel, and not for what we want to do. No, all of this is for society's comfort. If who you are makes somebody else uncomfortable, that's their shadow work. That's their shadow work. If they shouldn't be telling you that you have to change to make them comfortable. And I'm not advising people to go out and hurt other people. That is not what I'm advising to do. Being true to yourself, though, is not an affront to other people. It is not an affront to another person, especially if they are uncomfortable with you just being genuinely true to who you are. That is the absolute beauty of diversity, and that is the absolute beauty of getting in touch with yourself and your shadows, is that you are allowed to be unique. You are allowed to be diverse. You are allowed to be an individual. You're allowed to be you. And if somebody else is uncomfortable with that, that really is on them. I mean, the so much of growing up was conform. You have to conform. You have to do this. You have to do that. You can still work with people and make connections with people while being true to yourself. You can still embrace who you are as an individual. That is where power comes from. It's where empowerment comes from. And it is one of the greatest gifts that shadow work gives you, is that ability to go inside and to accept yourself, to accept yourself in all the different aspects of who you are, to observe your pain, to observe your emotions, and to give them a space to heal, to embrace beliefs and views about yourself that you hold, that were sacred to you. Your own essence is sacred. Who you are as an individual is sacred. And that is one of the gifts that shadow work gives you. It gives you back those elements. It gives you back that power, and it helps you to unify yourself. It helps you to step into your power. And it helps you to define your boundaries and define who you are as an individual. That is the gift that it gives us. It gives us the gift of empowerment and the gift of self. So yes, shadow journeys are painful, but they also can be incredibly joyful. They can be incredibly fun, and they can be incredibly healing. You are going to find things that hurt. You are going to find beautiful parts of yourself that were cast away, that you were told to repress, and you are going to be given the opportunity to fuse with them, to integrate them into your psyche, and to become whole. That is the power of shadow work. So there are other ways to do shadow work. These are just some suggestions. That's meditation, silent listening, guided journeys, focusing on your triggers, and then exploring those triggers within your mind. These are just some of the ways. There are many others. And if you have one that works for you, follow it. If you'd like to share your method of shadow work that works for you, please just comment on it below in the comment section. That would be fantastic to start a dialogue with everybody, sharing our different shadow journeys, sharing how we do shadow work. We learn by sharing, we learn by doing, and we learn by sharing. And if anybody wants to open up about their way of doing shadow work, please feel free to comment on it below. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this week's Priestess Talk. If you love our videos, please like and subscribe. Every subscription helps our channel to grow. Every like helps our channel to grow. Every comment helps our channel to grow. So please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel. We love to hear from you. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please drop them below in the comment section. I do read the comment section, and occasionally we'll do videos on questions that I get. That's this week's episode of Priestess Talk. Until next week, guys, I hope you have an amazing and demonically inspired week. Bye!